You are listening to Season 4 of Black Girl Missing, a true crime podcast covering stories of missing black girls under the age of 18. When black girls go missing, their cases are severely underreported in mainstream media. Join us as we dig deeper, ask questions, and provide unconsidered context. Due to the sensitive and sometimes graphic nature of these cases, we advise you to please use caution when listening.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Black Girl Missing, a podcast that looks at stories of missing black girls. Some of the girls are still missing to this day. Some of them have been found. Some of them, unfortunately, passed away. Um, I am one of your hosts. Have we decided? Okay, yes. I think last time we said that I'm going to be Dr. Feminista Jones. So Dr. Feminista
Yes.
Jones, and I'm here with.
Asa.
I'm Nikki. What up,
Are we
y'all?
okay? How we doing, y'all? That was a little.
I'm deliriously tired. Okay.
Oh,
It's Monday. It's Monday.
it's a Monday. Yeah, no, Mondays are Mondaying. We are recording a little bit late in the day. For those who don't know, Asa's bedtime is 9 p.m. on the dot, and it is currently 9:31 p.m. So
I
we are
really
pushing the
need
limits. We
that
are
sleepy time
pushing
bear sweatshirt.
we are pushing the limits of our dear friend. But when you have three people who have these wild robust schedules, and we're grown, so we
Yeah.
get together when we're able to do this. We're happy that you're here, though. Welcome back. um it's been really interesting, the climate in our nation, and I know we don't. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I lost my window. Hold on, I'm sorry. God damn it. Sorry.
My Lanta.
Let's go back. Okay. um.
I'm leaving that in.
Oh God. All right. So anyway, we are not. You know what? I am to say it. It don't matter if we're not perfect. Guess what? We are not podcast bros.
That's all we
It's
need.
all lame.
We did not get our mics off of Amazon Prime Day, and we're professionals. We
I
are
got my
professionals.
microphone. My microphone came from B&H.
Ooh,
Fancy,
fancy.
fancy. Mine
You
came
got
from
money.
mine came from a fan who told me that my microphone
Mm-hmm.
was janky and I needed a better one. And so they
Wow.
gifted me this very nice microphone.
That was such a backhanded
They
gift.
gifted me this
Oh, because I'm blessed and highly favored. All right. So today we have an interesting story today. This isn't I don't think this is anything like we've done before. I could be wrong. We're in season 4. We've done a lot of stories. But this one is really, really interesting to me. So in 2015, Antoine Smith, who was 35, and Letitia Smith, 33, were married, and they lived together with their 8 and 4-year-old daughters, Isabel and Abigail, in Victor Valley, or it's also known as Victorville, which is near San Bernardino, California. It's also a few hours away from the US Mexico border. Antoine is African American, and Letitia is Mexican American with a dual citizenship. And this is going to be important later. Antoine and Letitia worked together on a local military base, so they spent a lot of time together between work and home. And I was thinking about this when I was researching, and it's like how that can either help or hurt a relationship, right? You don't get a break, you
Hmm.
don't get any distance, right?
Yeah.
Their daughters, who were often called Abby and Izzy, rounded out their family, and there aren't any reports of any other children or family members living with them at the time. There are reports from neighbors that they would occasionally hear the couple arguing or fighting. We don't know if Abby and Izzy were present for those fights, but they were frequent and loud enough for neighbors to know something was going on. One neighbor said that the girls were frequent witnesses to arguing and fighting, but that wasn't confirmed. So on May 10th, 2015, several people called the police department to report that Antoine had not been to work in several days. Now, I found it curious because they worked at the same military base, but people called the police to see where he was, but didn't contact Letitia to find out where he was.
Curious.
Well, that's because she too
Interesting.
was gone and hadn't been heard from for a few days. So my question was like, okay, so why didn't anybody report her missing too?
Right.
So it made me wonder what her relationship with her coworkers was like, right? Friends and coworkers they became increasingly concerned after they received text messages from Antoine's cell phone number, which were not like his usual messaging style. Like, you know how you can tell when something is off with someone, especially someone you text daily? You know, I guess he was close enough to them that they knew something was up. The next day, May 11, 2015, a missing report was filed with the Victorville Sheriff's Station. Then the next day, May 12th, 2015, the police went to their home for a welfare check. Upon arriving at the home around 8 p.m., police found Antoine dead from gunshots.
Oh.
Yeah. He was found in one of the bedrooms. From all reports, Letitia was the first suspect, and throughout the investigation, she was identified as a suspect in Antoine's murder. Investigators were unable to locate Letitia and had evidence she fled to Mexico with their children. Remember, she has a dual citizenship. We don't exactly know what that evidence was, but since she had that dual citizenship, it was a reasonable assumption that she would leave, especially if she killed him. Okay?
Right.
So one of the neighbors, oh God, that's not funny.
Jeez,
But,
sorry.
you know, it was though. Like, she got out of Dodge, right? So one of the neighbors reported hearing a gunshot earlier in the week, but the police weren't clear on how long Antoine had been deceased. There was a report that suggested he'd been killed on either May 4th or May 5th. Okay. So let's remember, it was May 10th that people called the police department, right? So they're saying that that's 4 or 5 days, that's 5 or 6 days later. Another neighbor said the last time they saw Antoine alive, he and Letitia were arguing. They didn't say about what, but others said that they had been arguing more often in recent months. Multiple neighbors spoke of abuse, but the instigator of the abuse was unclear to those neighbors, right? One neighbor believed the wife was a victim of abuse, while another felt like Letitia one day would do something to hurt her husband. The police did not issue an Amber Alert because they said they didn't believe the mother was a threat to the children or would harm them. Now, this is weird to me because from the beginning, they believed she was a killer. So if you believe she's a killer, why do you assume that she's not going to hurt the kids? Like, I just want to know what evidence they had that had them, because we don't know what evidence they had that she fled to Mexico, but for whatever reason, they did that. So I was like, why would they assume she wouldn't harm the girls? Was it that, or that the girls were Afro-Latina? Right? We have to ask those kinds of questions because I'm not sure why someone they believe is a killer is also believed to be harmless to the kids unless they had more information about their relationship, right? So remember, some people said that they suspected some abuse was happening, right? So if she was being abused and she killed them because of that, then it's almost safe to assume she wouldn't harm the kids, right? So Letitia's mother reportedly told police that Letitia felt trapped in her marriage and was very unhappy with Antoine. Maybe they understood that whatever happened was related specifically to Antoine and Letitia and not the kids. I don't know. The story was featured on the show In Pursuit with John Walsh twice. The focus was more on Letitia, and they painted her as a cold-blooded killer. But I don't know. I think there's way more to that story than we know. What we do know is that in December of 2021, all right, so we're 6 years later, investigators from the Sheriff's Cold Case Homicide Team assumed the investigation. It had been 6 years since Letitia and the girls went missing. Investigators worked with Mexican authorities and located Smith living in Rosarita, Mexico, which is about 3 hours south of Victorville, California. Smith was arrested on an extraditable warrant for Antoine's murder. She was arrested in Mexico without incident, and Abby and Izzy were found to be safe. On March 4th, 2022, the United States Marshal Service took custody of Smith from Mexican authorities, and she was transported to the United States, where she was taken into custody by sheriff's investigators. Letitia was held at the West Valley Detention Center on $2 million bail.
Ooh.
Okay. Now that struck me, like, and I think it's because she ran, right? They knew she was a flight risk, or they knew that she could run. She had the dual citizenship or what have you.
Yeah.
She was then transferred to Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, where, to my knowledge, she remains. And she had a court date scheduled for June 6th. I couldn't find anything updating that, but, you know, I'm going to follow this case. But here's the thing. We don't know where the kids are. So the trail falls off with the girls when she was arrested in Mexico. All we know is that they said the girls were safe.
Absolutely
now,
not.
I've scoured the internet looking for more information on what happened to them. If anybody listening has any more information, but were they put into foster care? Were they put with family? Isabel should be like 17 or 18 now. So was she emancipated? The father is gone and the mother is in jail. And so, like, I have so many questions, right? So, you know, when you think about a situation like this, yeah, they're going to go with their mom. They're not going to, it's their mom, right? And so, so there's, again,
100%.
there's a possibility that abuse was happening. There's a possibility, gunshots in the bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that could have been defensive. I don't know. Or it could have been planned. Like, we don't really know. And that's what's kind of up in the air for this. But what we do know, right, and what made her feel trapped, because if she told her mother, she felt trapped. And again, so I'm kind of looking at the fact that they work together on a military base. We already know what military culture is like, especially for wives and things like that. You know, we don't know what kind of stress or what have you she was under and dealing with. At the same time, there's other people who felt like she was the aggressor. And nobody was checking for her. So that's the other thing that was kind of interesting, is that everybody was trying to figure out where he was, but y'all worked at the same place and nobody was checking for her. So again, kind of up in the air. But the girls, she took the girls and went to Mexico and was living in Rosarita. Okay. If you don't know Rosarita is actually a place where people go when they're in recovery from surgeries. Do not ask me why I know that, but it is a town that is kind of like built up. It's very beautiful. A lot of people will go there, rest and relaxation or what have you. So I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities for work there, things like that. But her having that dual citizenship gave her the opportunity to flee with the girls. And I was just really interesting because I was looking to see if there was any more information about family wondering about the girls or anything, but we didn't get much information about that. But my question about this, and the reason why we're reporting this on Black Girl Missing, is because the story has kind of fallen off. She was supposed to be in court, but that can be delayed or what have you. We don't have any updates. But where are them girls at? There's no information on what happened to them. The father is dead. The mother is incarcerated. And so I wanted to bring this to the conversation because that happens, right? What happens to these girls when this kind of thing happens with parents, right? So many girls end up getting lost in the system because parents are incarcerated, parents die, things like that. And they do get lost. We know, we've talked about the system. They do get lost, and so were they separated? Were they kept together? Are they with family? I just had some questions, and they couldn't be answered. Again, if anybody listening knows a little bit or was able to find something, but I was not able to find anything further on these girls. But I just was also really interested that John Walsh featured this case twice. They don't go in. And so they really they were depicting this woman as this cold-blooded, killer who was just like, she killed this man and ran with her kids. But I was just kind of like, there's probably more to this story. I don't know. What y'all think? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm wondering, even though they worked at the same military base, I'm wondering, were both of them in the military? Was one in the
No,
military,
I
the other
don't think
just
they
worked
were. I
on the
think they just
base?
kind of worked there. So yeah, we didn't get
Mhm.
anything like he's like sergeant, lieutenant, whatever, anything like that. It just seemed like they
Yeah.
were living there.
Yeah.
Because I could understand if, like, he was in the military, why his coworkers noticed him missing and
But if they
were
were, this would be a federal
like,
case. This, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, so if they were in the military,
you're
if
right.
she was
You're
in the
right.
military,
Yeah.
this would have been a whole different situation, a whole different case. You know what I mean? Because the feds would be
Right.
the VA, the
Yeah.
feds would be involved, military, police, all of that stuff like that, especially with kidnapping
Yeah.
and no, that would have been a little more in there. Yeah. But $2 million.
International. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she ain't going nowhere, so yeah, so that, just
Right.
I thought that was an interesting case. Girls maybe getting lost in the system, because she was held in Mexico for a while before they brought her back to the United States. So all they said,
Yeah.
Did it say if her mother was in the
it
US
didn't.
or Mexico?
It didn't.
Oh, okay. Because maybe, hopefully,
That's what
that
I'm
was her
hoping.
grandmother,
I'm
if she's a
hoping that
US
that's maybe the
citizen.
case, but because they didn't say if the girls were brought back to the States. So with the mother having dual citizenship, I'm not really sure how citizenship works with Mexico and the mother and the children, if the children were born here. I'm not really sure. But I thought I just was really interested that the angle that they took on In Pursuit was that she was definitely the aggressor and the cold-blooded killer, whereas the neighbors and even her family, her mother was like, no, she was not happy, she felt but also mother didn't say she was abused, just that she felt trapped and unhappy.
Right. So she was trapped.
So I don't know.
So again, why did she feel trapped?
I don't know.
Was it she just felt she couldn't get divorced? Oh,
I feel like, considering where she fled to when she went to Mexico, right? I feel like anytime you stay close to the coast and you are south of Tijuana, there's really no reason for you to come back. There's no reason to come back. Like, come back for what?
Yeah.
So I feel like she took them kids and left them down there.
She might have, but they found the kids. So she was with the kids. They recovered the kids. The kids were found safe. We just don't know if they were brought back to the United States or if they were still in Mexico. And I like that idea that maybe the grandmother, was living in Mexico and maybe was like, I'll take the kids because there's nobody else, right? The father's dead. The father's dead, and there was no mention. And that's why I said earlier, there's no mention of other family living with them. So that's why I was just like,
right.
And in communal cultures, like Mexico, like African Americans, it's really not far fetched for you to just leave your kids with somebody,
right?
Say, to leave them with a grandmother or an aunt, or
Especially
whoever,
Mexican.
And then they just raise them.
Especially Mexican, that's a family.
Yeah,
they love a multi-generational,
there'll be a baby sleeping on the bed with the coats.
And that is no shade whatsoever. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic that people can rely on family in that way. This particular story is just very curious to me because there is so much violence that takes place on military bases that I'm just like, oh, this is par for the course.
Right.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
And I also have noticed that lately, like in the last, I don't know, maybe 6 to 9 months, I've noticed an uptick in men coming forward to talk about their like abusive
well, because we're making it safer for them to do it now.
And like it used to be something that was so taboo that it's like, oh, I can't talk about that because I'm gonna be soft and whatever. I'm starting to see more men come forward like, no, this chick is wildin'.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing X, Y, and like having proof of it.
Right.
They're recording, or there's like voice recordings, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious about what kind of life these people were living.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
But like, we'll
we
never
won't.
know.
And I was really digging and seeing, because sometimes on the the web sleuths and things like that, the different we all into this because we're all nosy. We just actually need to admit that. They'll keep stuff up, they'll update and stuff like that, but everything falls off after she was arrested in Mexico, and all we have is they found the girls. Okay, they're safe. But we don't have knowledge of whether or not they brought the kids back or anything like that. So yeah. So I just thought that was an interesting story. Something a little different than what we're used to. A mother kind of kidnapping her kids after she's been accused of murder. But yeah.
I mean, on the upside, the kids are alive, because
I just hope that they're well.
Yeah.
True.
And like
That's
with someone who loves them and cares.
Well,
Because that's
the
a
mom
lot.
said
Like
that she
your
was
mom
a
is
caring
now
mother
locked up.
and that she was very devoted to her family. But the mother was like, but no, you know what? The mother, I think, lived in the States because she was talking with the police in San Bernardino, and she said that she claimed she had no idea where her daughter was. Now, she knew where her daughter was, but she ain't gonna sell her out, especially if she believes that her daughter is being harmed. You know what I mean? So that was that. So yeah. I hope that Isabel and Abigail are safe and happy, but to our knowledge, they're still kind of missing. So we don't know where they are. All right. So so that was just a little different. Thank you all for tuning in. Another quick episode of Black Girl Missing. We hope that you subscribe and that you like this. Leave some comments for us. Share it with your friends. That really is the best way to support the Black Girl Missing podcast. Tell people about it. Give us some reviews. Follow us on social media. We're like on all the platforms and stuff. And all right. Take care, y'all.
Black Girl Missing podcast is researched, written, and produced by 3 concerned Black women who want justice for missing Black girls. You can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite platform so we can keep bringing you the stories of Black girls that need to be told. Visit us at blackgirlmissingpod.com for all things Black Girl Missing. Today's episode was written by Feminista Jones and produced by Nikki Irene.